Signal 51 is police code for a call for an investigation. The Signal 51 Chronicles are stories of crime in the Southwest told by retired Fort Worth Police Sergeant Jake White and veteran investigative journalist John Henry. Good evening from the Rockstone Studios in Fort Worth. I'm John Henry, co-host with my compadre Jake White, retired sergeant of the Fort Worth Police Department. The only true crime podcast in Fort Worth. When we started this, we decided that from time to time we would take up topical current events, issues of interest to our community. And to that end, I welcome noted attorney Francisco Hernandez.
Well, we noted for what? We don't know, right?
Board certified in criminal defense for 30 plus years. You're not all in Fort Worth, we decided.
Yeah, the last 27 years.
That's 27 years. And he is here. He's going to join us here to talk about the tragic killing of Atatiana Jefferson and specifically the murder trial of former Fort Worth police officer Aaron Dean. And there was news recently on this case, big news actually, regarding the recusal of Judge David Hagerman.
Right.
First of all, how rare is a recusal of a judge?
Recusal of a judge. I guess first you have to realize that it's so rare because it requires the administrative judge, even at the municipal court level, to go in and have a hearing. So it is so seldom requested. I can recall, in a significant case,
looks like we're going on never.
Two on George Gallagher and David Hagerman. George Gallagher on the zapping of the defendant in the courtroom.
Okay. Right.
So two times now.
2 times.
Yeah. The other one was for putting somebody in jail after he got found not guilty of sexual assault of a child. He was a bit excited and he said, thank God. Held him in contempt, put him in jail. You just get acquitted for sexual assault. You go to jail for saying thank you, God.
And the defense attorneys based their motion on recusal based on conduct by Judge Hagerman that was what would we call it?
Antagonistic
toward
aggressive or yeah.
They made the case that he could not be impartial to.
Well, they made the allegation that he was hostile toward them. I take a different point of view. I think Judge Hagerman was fed up with the getting out of trial setting games that quite frankly is the defense's job to do, is get out of trial. Why would you hurry up and go to trial? We're out on bond. Let's take our time. So that's what they were doing. And the judge, lost his cool because he's got a former retired district judge in front of him.
And Bob Gill.
And Hagerman used to be a prosecutor in his court, right? And now his ex-judge is now pulling these games that he used to criticize about, right?
Right.
So, yeah, he got mad because, dude, you used to get so mad about this, and now you're pulling it on me. So Judge Hagerman's going, this case has to be tried. It's 3.5 years old.
Right.
And the community wants it tried. It deserves to be tried. It needs to go to trial, right? And now that continues to find out when Jim Lane's going to be better. No, a case is going to have to be tried. So he's forcing it because if it doesn't get tried, who is the community going to blame?
The judge.
The judge, because he's supposed to be administering the court. Precisely.
And there's 2 things at the center of this delay, if we want to call it tactics, whatever. One is Jim Lane's health.
Sure.
He is the lead attorney, and the defense says they don't want to go forward without their lead attorney.
Well, if Jim Lane is the lead attorney because he's the godfather defense lawyer to any police officer that gets in trouble in Tarrant County or in Fort Worth and maybe all of Texas. Yes, he has a name, he's got a reputation, but the reason that Bob Gill and Miles Brissett have the case is because Jim Lane has been sick and couldn't do the heavy lifting. Now, if they're saying that they can't fill Jim Lane's shoes, right, because Jim Lane's still such a great lawyer, right, then why do we have retired Judge Bob Gill and Miles Brissett? No, of course they're wanting the case delayed because that's their job as defense lawyers, to avoid the trial where their client stands to get millions of years in prison. So both sides are doing what they're supposed to do. If you're the judge and somebody wants to recuse himself, why do you want to hang on to the case? Just pass it off, right? Pass it off to the new judge. Let that guy take the trash out.
If I'm Judge Hagerman, I want to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And just, 3
weeks of your life at that trial and you can't get them back. Yeah.
Also, Bob Gill says he's going on vacation when the trial was rescheduled the second or third time. What's at the center of that?
Well, okay. Look, you've got the biggest case in national media, certainly all over Texas. This is the biggest case of your career. And you have the opportunity to save this police officer from a wrongful conviction. And you got to go to Cancun.
Right.
No, it's strategy. You don't want your client tried. No, he wasn't going on vacation. They put in a vacation letter, and if it's put in 45 days before the actual trial gets set, then the judges must honor it under the local rules. Judge Hagerman had to honor it. I'm sorry, it was under the local rules. The hypocrisy of it is that retired Judge Bob Gill used to try to hold lawyers in contempt for filing vacation letters that he thought were designed to get out of trial. Well, that's what you're supposed to do, sir.
Right. I want to ask you about Jim Lane. How important is he to this trial, to the community being on this trial, if you know what I mean? He's a longtime Democrat.
Right.
He's both friend of police,
right,
as you noted, and of minority communities.
Yeah.
From a standpoint of importance to what happens in the aftermath of this trial, how important is it that he is on this?
If I'm accused, I'm a police officer, I want Jim Lane sitting in the courtroom. It's just because he has such a long tradition and history of representing police officers. He has their trust. I mean, look, the fact that Jim Lane thought that I need to bring in 2 top caliber lawyers to help me with this case because I'm ill, that tells you something about the caliber of the lead lawyer, right? Mm-hmm. But if I'm the client, well, I do want Perry Mason next to me. I know maybe he wasn't a real lawyer, but it's Perry Mason, right? Some jurors, and he's been around now 60 years practicing law, it's a chance that half the jurors know him. Right. Of course I want Jim Lane. As I told you, I think he has pictures of every judge in bed with a live boy or a dead girl. But he is the godfather, and he was very, very, very...
When you're around for 60 years, you pick up these things.
Yeah. The devil knows more for his age than for being the devil, right?
Judge Hagerman had not ruled on a change of venue yet on this case.
Right.
That is still in play, I presume.
Yeah.
And actually, we learned that the trial has been moved into George Gallagher's court.
Yeah.
What are the chances that? What do you think happens with that change of venue motion?
Well, they've got to figure out where they take it. They may have granted it today or placed it somewhere, but they have to figure out a place where they can go that the defense feels. The defense has to meet the burden of proof that there's too much media and too much prejudice against their client, which somehow, they apparently have met that standard for Fort Worth.
Yeah.
So if Fort Worth is not fair because of the media and prejudice, now I realize the venue has a lot to do with it. It was in Fort Worth. But you're going to go to Dallas? No. Right? You're serving your police officer client to the wolves. Right? You're going to go to Harris County? Nope, that's worse. Right? You're going to go anywhere south of Austin or San Antonio? No, right? That's all communities they're perceived to be hostile to the police.
Right.
So maybe El Paso, but then you have to take your staff because you got to take your own staff, right? And bailiffs and a prisoner over there, which means El Paso's got to agree to take him in. But are they more fair? I don't know. I mean, how many times have you been to El Paso in your life?
Once.
Okay.
Trip to Juarez.
Right. And I've been there maybe 4 or 5 times in my entire life. It's part of Texas, but it's a different world. Right. And
right. It's yes.
Yeah. So, the process, I mean, you're going to go to Odessa, Lubbock, Amarillo. Well, now the prosecution is going to have a problem with that. Right. So they've got to determine a venue. And also it's going to entail Judge Gallagher now leaving his docket unattended for 3 weeks. I imagine they're going to bring in a visiting judge to sub in for Gallagher. But I mean, look at the amount. Just do the math on personnel. Just personnel alone on changing this venue. It doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. And we were talking earlier. The last time I can remember it happening was the Colin Davis trial.
Yeah,
47 years ago.
Yeah,
I want to say there was one more there here or there somewhere, but it's very rare.
The Naval Academy students that didn't get transferred. I'm drawing a blank. There's got to be something.
Probably so. I wanted to say maybe Pamela Fielder, but I can't remember. Exactly.
Yeah. Now we're telling them how old we are.
Now we're old, aren't we? Speaking of, you're an old Pascal High School guy, aren't you?
1982.
1982.
40-year reunion.
1982. Oh, y'all having one?
Yeah, we're having one in September, yeah.
All right. The other side of this change of venue thing is if you take it to a rural community, you were saying.
Much more conservative, much more, maybe less, I don't want to say the word progressive, but less, less open-minded about minorities or, I mean, what's the joke? Somebody going to say, well, that lady must have shaken her head too fast for that police officer who was sneaking up behind her. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, we're all creatures of our upbringing, right? I mean,
right.
It's, you can call it racism, but it's just where we live. We grow up a certain way. We're going to react a certain way, whether we like it or not.
Humans are tribal beings.
We're products of our upbringing. I mean, it's the people get shocked when I say, the biggest place of racial tension in Tarrant County is between blacks and browns.
Yeah.
You have racism between blacks and browns, okay? And you go to Dallas, oh my God, it's open warfare there.
Right.
But in Fort Worth, it's very tense. It's very, very tense. Right. And it's the elephant in the room. We can all talk about all this racism and juries who are not I guess prejudiced or are prejudiced. Talk to Leon Haley, incredible defense lawyer, African American defense lawyer, and he'll pull out the race card in a case. And in Tarrant County, he'll say things that you wouldn't believe, but he's got to get him out. He goes, I'm not going to have a Mexican on the jury with my black guy.
Yeah,
they're going to convict him.
Right.
Not
going to hear a word.
Not exactly
of testimony. Not going to hear a word.
Right.
You mentioned Jim Lane. He'd been around for 60 years. Chances are somebody's going to know this guy on the jury.
Yeah.
Fort Worth is probably the best place he can get the fairest trial.
I think Fort Worth is not all that unfair. I mean, when you look at Texas, where could you do it? I think Fort Worth is if Jim Lane's in a courtroom, yeah, I think it's as fair as it's going to get. But no, I am there. But as a defense lawyer, you have to request it.
Right.
You have to, and you got to get it because look, it's a lockjaw, right? Even if Fort Worth was the better place, now they're stuck, right, for the next month or so, right? First continuance is granted, right? And now they got to find a place to take it over. They've just delayed trial, I'd say, till the end of the year.
Now, I mentioned this to you earlier, and you about collapsing your chair when I said this. I said, the Sixth Amendment, Francisco, guarantees the defendant a speedy trial.
Yeah.
So isn't it the defendant who wants a speedy trial, and you about fell out of your chair?
Hell no. Speedy trial is the least valuable constitutional right in the entire Constitution. My goodness, what can go wrong with taking time? Now, if you're sitting right in jail, right, we got people in jail right now waiting 3.5 years for a jury trial, right? And we can't figure out how to try cases on bond.
Right.
Right? If it's that important, go take some of those people out of there. We had a client that was charged with sexual assault, and I swear, we conclusively proved, was your client really guilty? You just got him off. No, he waited 2.5 years because he had an immigration hold. He couldn't bond out of the jail. How much did that cost us, right? And came in, we affirmatively, Philip Hall in my office, affirmatively proved, and not guilty. I mean, boom. And even immigration let him out here. Released the hold, right? Waited 2.5 years for his trial. He was offered time served several times. He would have gotten convicted. He had already served his time and just gotten deported, right? And he said, if I have to plead to touching that woman, they can take me to prison now. It's got balls, huh?
That's
so they got people in there that have been waiting 2.5, 3 years, 3.5 years for trial. And we're arguing about a guy that's on bond. I'm sorry. The community may deserve justice. The community doesn't deserve justice. The guy deserves a fair trial, and he's on bond. Who cares? Bring some of the people in jail and try those.
What, as a defense attorney, what are some of the advantages of slow playing it?
Well, I mean, the case can't get worse for you.
Right.
Right? Witnesses disappear. Witnesses die. Girls get pregnant. They get married. They get back together with husband. I mean, life happens. With time, life happens. And a lot of times they're overreactions. They're cases that are overcharged, felonies that are filed that were really misdemeanors. Mm-hmm. You need the time for people to actually really recollect. It's just everything is based on what the police officers write at the time, which is what they could do with the time they were given, right? People are crying, people are bruised, somebody going to jail because somebody hit somebody, right? So now, okay, it's amazing that it took so long to react to this Atatiana case because nobody could believe that could happen to a police officer.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the evidence, so I don't know. I don't know what evidence there is. I imagine everything's body cam mic, so
should be all there.
I mean, I'd love to hear him. But I can't. But if the evidence is damning, punt.
Right.
Yeah, you're 4th and 10 on your 5, right?
Punt.
Yeah, punt as far as you can.
Have you ever worked a case even? Obviously not this case. Obviously, this rarely happens. But a police case like this, not a police case. High profile cases, yeah, a bunch. But a police case, no. I mean, police case always go to Jim Lane. They always go to Jim Lane
or Art Brender.
Art Brender's the other one. Yeah.
Employment cases, Art Brender and Jason Smith. Oh yeah, phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Jason Smith. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just kicked every school district, every city on discrimination. I mean.
Yeah, he called for a ban of Whataburger not about 2 years ago.
He did, and he got money out of him.
Did he?
He got money out of him. Right? He represented the lesbian teacher in Mansfield. Right?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Everybody said he's never going to win that. Yeah.
He's an old Nolan boy. See, I'm an old Nolan.
He's an old Nolan boy.
Yeah.
Did you go Nolan with
him?
I
did. I'm not with him. I'm a little younger than he is. A couple of years.
Oh, come on. How old are you?
51.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's
about 52.
He's class of 86.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, those guys, those 2-3 guys that represent police officers for years, why would anybody go anywhere else? I mean, there's plenty of able lawyers, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I have a different niche of clients.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. And, Jim Lane's association with the police hurt him when he ran for...
Well, of course it did.
For mayor in 2011.
Yeah. Well, running against Betsy hurt you.
That didn't help him
that
at all.
Help, yeah.
Francisco Hernandez, I appreciate you,
thank you
joining us, taking the time out to share your expertise, and hope to see you again soon.
Expertise? I thought it was a comedy show.
Take care.